Hi, this is Sebastian,
Hi, and this is Juan.
and today we'll be presenting you the first part of an episodic series focusing on customer journey mapping with actionable tips and tactics. Buckle up.
How do you optimize your customer's journey, drive demand, reduce churn rate, increase retention, and generate growth? Are some of the questions marketers continuously ask.
Welcome to the Customer XP Crew Weekly Podcast, where we discuss marketing strategies, tactics, ideas, experiences, invite guests and experts to help you with your marketing growth by being customer-centric. And now to this episode.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Customer XP Crew, your weekly podcast about everything customer centric. Today, we're digging deep into one of the subjects that we're more passionate about. And no, it's not the dilemma of pineapple on pizza. It's customer journey, and more importantly, customer journey mapping. And with me is marketing director and industry expert Juan Gomez. Juan, how's everything?
Hey, Sebastian, another episode. Great to be here again. And yes, let's talk about how do we map our customer journey and how we get to be a better company.
Awesome. Let's dive into it.
Okay. So one of the things that really create an ensemble for companies, it's customer mapping, customer journey mapping. And it really begs the question of how do we start? Because a lot of people are, yeah, you hear this term and you go like, hey, what is it? What does it do? What kind of things does it really create and benefit? So we're here on this episode, we're trying to kind of create an actionable and informational episode where we are going to touch like and define what is customer journey mapping. So even though in another episode we talked about the customer journey, today we're talking about actually creating a map of that journey. And how do we start creating a map of that journey? So the first thing that we do, especially if you're an ongoing business and you're already established, it's to map out all the interaction points that you have between you and the customer. And when I mean all the interaction points, I mean all. It does not just does not have to be on, oh, when I send the invoice or when they become a customer. Yeah, we will take care of that too. But even before that, and it starts from the awareness phase, like how do we reach them? Once they reach, do they go to a landing page or they go to a chat bot or they go to our Facebook or our Instagram profiles? Or if it's offline and we have a salesman, is it through sales? Is it a cold calling? So we really have to start mapping out all those interactions and really create an interaction tree where you see all the points that you have and all the dots that connect in order for them to funnel in, become a customer, and from a customer expand out again into becoming uh, a good customer experience for them, because it just doesn't stop at just becoming a customer. You obviously want to create a map also of what is the interaction that they have once they become a customer, and how these little things that you do, even if you're using a project manager that sends an automated response for a task, for example, or when you, for example, when you use Uber Eats, like you order something, you're gonna get a notification like when they have the pizza that you're requesting, when
The
it's on its
tracking.
way. Yes, exactly. So all of those things have to be created for companies, and we see a lot of B2B companies not doing this, and a lot of B2C companies as well not doing this. So it's a huge topic. We're very passionate about it. That's our the core of our service is mapping and really enhancing all these interactions. That's what we do here at Moreketing. But more is the benefit that you give to the to your customers once you start doing this kind of practices, because the idea here is that their user experience and their customer experience is on point, off the charts. Like everything is really centric to them. They feel like, hey, are they reading my mind or something? Because it's like, oh, or you surprise them with something wow for them, because what happens is that they feel like they're pretty much well taken care of. And
Yeah.
obviously that really creates a huge value proposition for you as a company, because they would not like to change that type of treatment, of experience, because that's what you give, and that is what you're working on. So there's always ways to become better. There's technology that's emerging that you can implement as well. And obviously this is going to cater to your customers and really help you in creating a better experience. What do you think, Sebastian?
Yeah, I was thinking that no matter what type of methodology or technology you use, you have to reach a level where you can provide an experience that is so seamless that your customer don't even feel he or she went through a purchase process. And as you mentioned, like that doesn't just cater to the checkout process. It's also at the beginning. How did they attracted you on the first place? How was the process? Um, did they follow you on everything that we go through when with sorry, when we go through the process of the pixel on social media, and then you see the ad pops out again, and then you get to visit the website, and you start sharing or interacting with everything that the brand has to offer. And even after the purchase, things that I think are maybe going too far, but also I was thinking on the loyalty programs, which is also a very important after purchase strategy that are also part of the experience. But I think that um, something that is also very vital is that this is not static. What I mean by that is, as your business or your company grows, the experience that you provide might shift a little bit. So those are the moments where you need to take a look at your map again. And because, as I said, things are not static, they always change. And you have to address what are your customers' concerns at those points. Like, what is going on? Is something not working? Um, there are some clients that when they come to us, they say, everything is going great. The website is looking great. The technology, everything, but sometimes our cart is full and people are not doing the final purchase. Like they're leaving the goods on the cart. What is going on? Okay, so maybe you should take a look on the checkout process. What is the landing page that you are using? Is it optimized? The copy that you're using, is it working properly? Is it talking directly to your audience, which is very important? Segmentation also plays a huge role. So I think it's like a full spectrum um, of aspects that you should take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think touch points are a vital point of a customer journey mapping. And all those things that you mention are just touch points. So let's define what are touch points. So touch points are any interaction points that your customer has with your brand. And when I mean every interaction point, is every single interaction point. So that means is where you as a business and this person as a consumer come together and meet at this place. It can be virtual, it can be physical, and they have this place together, and then you get to do an action or whatever it is. So you have to define the purpose of each interaction point. Let's start from awareness, because let's focus right now on the buyer's perspective, and
Yes.
then we'll talk about customer experience. But from a buyer's perspective, or that buyer journey, a lot of people don't know about your brand or your company or never heard of it. So you start doing ads, you start having these different outreach programs that you do in order to get inbound leads, let's say. Then the first thing is this point of contact. It can be a billboard, it can be a flyer that you're giving out, it can be ads online. So all of these are touch points, and depending on what your goal is, it depends on where you take them. So for example, if you get a billboard and that's the touch point, what's the purpose behind that billboard? Is it to guide them? Is it to just create brand awareness? Is it to generate traffic? Hopefully you're not having someone with a QR on a billboard and taking a photo because they might crash, but
Yeah.
we've seen
Yeah,
things
I
like
never
that.
thought about it. It's true.
Uh-huh.
It's true.
And so billboards are a great way to create awareness locally on the market because they're huge and you see a lot of people running through them, and obviously that creates huge awareness. Online also you can use social media ads, search ads, and then you can use also ads that show up on the different news sites and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter where they start their journey. It matters of creating those touch points and having some thought process behind it and say, okay, I'm building this. Okay, they see this. Where am I taking them? Or what's
Exactly.
the next phase of this? Okay, then if it's online, they go to this page. If it's a billboard, maybe a phone number or something like that, and from there what is it that we say? So for example, if it's a billboard, the second touch point, because you give him a phone number to call, is okay, you're gonna have a sales rep that is ready to do this, and if you don't have enough volume of reps to receive the volume of calls, then you're gonna give them a bad experience.
Exactly.
So you have to take into account all of this and measure it correctly so that you give the best experience possible. And if you're not, at least you excuse yourself. Like for example, on Chat GPT right now, it's being like super popular. And they even put out a message like, hey, we're getting so much demand that sometimes our server is running slow. Please be patient. Or you can upgrade to the premium model and pay us $20 a month, and then we'll switch it to a different server where just the premium users are at, and you're gonna have faster response times and all this kind of stuff. But again, it's about all the touch points, but at least on this one, they know that they're having a lot of demand and people are crashing the system because they have this touch point, which is using the product. And a lot of people are not having the best experience because of the delay, but at least there's some communication from their end, creating awareness that they have a problem for this and that they're taking care of it by one, giving them an option to go premium, or two, just have patience and come back at a later time
Yeah.
where it's not as busy. So
Now that you were talking about the awareness, sometimes people don't realize how huge this is, and that this is the reason why all of your efforts need to be placed on a strategy that is very thought out, so it's cost effective. So as an example, people might say, okay, a billboard is a huge economic investment, or now that we just had the Super Bowl, those ads are some of the most expensive all over the world. But it's because brands value and they recognize the importance of brand awareness. It's not just that you're going to watch a TV sport or a funny ad and say, okay, I need to run to the nearest store and get this. It doesn't just work like that, not necessarily, but it's something that is going to stick in your mind, and that is very relevant. So the intent, um, that you put into your efforts is extremely huge, because it's not, for example, when you're running ad campaigns, it's not the same if you just want people to get to know you, to know who you are because you're new in the industry, as if you are an already established business that already has a reputation, but maybe you want to steer into a different or new alternative strategy, or you just want to win customers back. So the intent is always important. So brand awareness plays a huge part.
Yes, brand awareness is huge nonetheless. So that's the first touch point. Usually it's awareness, then you create a consideration content. And this is where it really brands are lacking is content creation and storytelling. So the idea here is to create a well thought out strategy where you have lots of good content that is valuable. And again, there's a lot of tools, AI tools out there that are going to help you with creating content. They're not going to replace it. Again, they're just means of production. So Gary V, as you might all know him,
Yes.
he made a really good description on this. And it was like when tractors came to farms, everybody was freaking out. And it was like, oh, tractors are destroying our jobs. We're farmers and all that stuff. And then nothing happened. It just created more sophisticated jobs where you use tractors and people, obviously it takes a less amount of people because now it makes it more efficient. So the, the same thing is going to happen with AI. Is not, it might get rid of some jobs, yes, but it's also going to steer people to become more
Yes.
efficient
Bigger
and
possibilities.
exactly of possibility. So if it's getting rid of your job, like study and make yourself a little bit more useful into something that it's not going to be replaceable. And but the majority of things that are being done by AI, especially in the marketing field, is they're just tools. They're not here to replace the human behind creating this. It's tools. So this will help you generate better copy for all your touch points. If it's a website, if it's a video, it can really speed up. Like for example, the other day I was trying to create a topic list for my personal IG profile. And I put like, okay, I love traveling aside from marketing. I love traveling. So I put like, what are the top topics that are most popular with adventure travelers? And then it gave me a list of things that I could do it on. And this is very important because now instead of me researching and digging a lot of information is saving me time. Now I am the one that has to develop all these topics
Yes.
and create these touch points and all this stuff. So again, creating touch points, it's a good content strategy, especially in the buyer's perspective. So if it's you're running it on a blog and social media, like where you have to think about all these meeting places between you as a brand and the consumer and how you're adding value at every step of the way. So then they come to you and then they become your customer. Again, in the decision process, as you described, let's say for example, you're selling products online and they come to the cart, they add the items, but they don't check out. Is it, you have to really analyze on that conversion point and that touch point, which is your conversion point of creating a purchase. What is it that is lacking? Is it because, I don't know, the form is too far down, or people are not seeing it, or are they having an issue when accessing it from a particular device, like for example, a phone versus a desktop computer or a laptop? So you have to really find out where is it that it's failing and enhance that touch point. And at Moreketing, once we take in a client, we map everything out for them. So from the start, What are the very first touch points? What campaigns are we doing? If they're doing none, then how do they get? If it's word of mouth, where do they usually land? Is it their Facebook profile or their LinkedIn profile or their Instagram profile or their website? And what do they do from there? Is there something rich to consume, or if it's just an informational page where it's egocentric and you just talk about your company, or it's something that it provides real value? So we take it from there, and then once you become a customer, the process of touch points don't end there. Invoicing is another touch point. Like, are invoices handed out correctly, and do they have a good experience to pay, or does it have does that um invoice have the right information that they're looking at? So it's very descriptive.
And
Are
the
you
way that that invoice is delivered to your customer also
correct?
is also part of the experience.
Correct. How is it being delivered? Do they have a customer portal where they can see all the invoices throughout the relationship? Or do I have to email accounting from your company and ask for an invoice from 3 months ago? Because, for example, let's say I have an issue on my own accounting that they're asking me for this and somebody lost the paperwork, and I have to reprint it. Is it accessible? Are you thinking about your customers? So every single thing about this, and it doesn't matter if you're a SaaS company or you are a retail company, if you are B2B or B2C, are you making your life easier for your consumer? Are you making that experience easier for them? Is it being transparent? Do you have open channels of communication? So that type of stuff really adds into the experience, makes it more transparent. And how you map this is just documenting every single point. So you go through the whole interaction model yourself to see where is it that you're failing, or there's opportunity for growth. And trust me, there's always opportunity for growth. And so we go and map out all these touch points. We take screenshots, we take photos, and we put it together on this huge document, which one of the tools that we use for this is Miro, which is a whiteboarding solution. And then we put everything here on the map. And as you said, Sebastian, if they change vendor and now this changes completely one point of the interaction map, then of this customer mapping, then we have to change that touch point and see how it affects the other pieces. Like, for example, let's say we're not using we're switching from, I don't know, Trello into Monday. And that's the way we communicate via our project manager with our clients. So what's the impact for our customers? Are we making a transition for them? What are the touch
Do
points
they feel
behind it?
comfortable? Exactly.
Correct. So all those kind of things you have to take into account and really have it top of mind for you, because your customers should be your top of mind in order for you to deserve that spot in their top of mind. So
This also, this also reminded me, we had an episode that was about the subscription-based model, and some of the audience asked us that why did we talk about the need of making the unsubscribing process easy for the customers, because it's like an old-fashioned belief, like when you do it in a tricky way, maybe the customer is going to stick around. No, that's, yeah, people need to start ditching that idea. That's in the past, because even that part of the process, unsubscribing or quitting from a service, it should be as easy are having access to the service itself, because it's something that your customer is going to appreciate. And when you make it so easy, customers might even get back. It's proven.
yeah, data shows it and backs it up. And one of the things that it customer journey mapping really allows is to study customer behavior and really see what are the most common paths that they take. Where is it hitting a wall or a rock, or they having a difficulty, so that we can improve it. So it's really, really rich in information, and it really makes your business so much better, because you can improve a lot of processes internally and externally, meaning for your customers and internal. Some of those are touch points that obviously your customers don't see, but behind the scenes are a lot of other processes that take into account and happen, so that they meet at this touch point with the customer. So again, it's a way to improve and really have that momentum with your customers and create a really well crafted experience that your customers love. And that's why having this map is so rich. I just not
Yeah.
can describe it better.
And one of the advantages of being customer centric is that because you have your customer feedback
Mm-hmm.
is in a privileged place that allows you to have access to fantastic insight and all that information that your customer gives you, and especially when it's in an organic, natural way, because you have built that relationship of trust and bonding and community with your customer. Those insights, they give you the chance to create some wonderful campaigns and grow your business much more.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So a lot of people or marketers might ask themselves, so how do we start crafting a customer journey map?
Yeah.
So the first is get a whiteboard software. Trust
Yeah.
me, if you're doing it on paper, you're gonna run out of paper.
Visuals are everything.
So just take photos, start documenting the whole process. Like talk to your sales department, talk to your marketing department. You have to really create a well thought out process of how you deliver something from scratch. How do they get to know you? Like really start mapping this, take screenshots. What campaigns are you running? What visuals are you using? Where do they go next? And all this stuff. So you start from that awareness part. Then once they land, where do they land? What interaction points do they have? Is it a phone call? Do we have a script? What is the script? Where do we send them to? So have out a huge map of things that where they start their awareness process, then their consideration process, then their conversion process, and once they funnel in to become a customer, what are the other touch points that you have in place as a company? And here it gets a little bit more complicated, because every company has its own way to do things and to communicate with customers. So again, it depends. If you have a project management system that pretty much automates all your interaction points and sends out communications to the consumers, then cool. But what is it saying? Does it really, you might want to change the original text that it comes with the automated responses, and make it your own and all that kind of stuff. So just map out every single strategy. When accounting creates an invoice, how do you send it? What information does it have? Can you provide more value to them? So all these interaction points, you map them out. When they get the service, like what are those touch points? Is it in person? And if it's in person, do you have SOPs, standards of operations, that really follow and create that well-crafted experience that you want to have? And if they have an incident, or what is your resolution process? So you have to map out everything to really understand where there are touch points and where are opportunity points between all those touch points so that you can craft something better, streamline the process. You might find out like, oh, from once we bring in our customers, a lot of them are not doing this and this and this. So you might have to actually get rid of tasks and become more streamlined. Or in the other end, if you're just losing customers or they feel lost and they're talking to you and they don't get an answer, so they're getting a bad experience, and so you want to create other touch points so that they don't feel lost or for them not to get a bad experience. So that's my how you do it. So get a whiteboard, start documenting everything, take photos, screenshots, talk to everybody within the company and take him from point A to point Z in your company. Like drive through the whole process, document it right, and then evaluate, analyze, and see where you're gonna be optimizing these touch points.
And they I wanted to say that data analysis plays such a huge role here, because you might ask yourself, okay, from all of these touch points, how do I identify what are the most critical touch points for my company? And this is where the correct and effective analysis of your data is going to change the game. And also because there are also people that are introverts. There are also marketing strategies that have an approach that fits introverts, because and when we suggest you um, to ask your customers for feedback, to ask your staff, your teammates, your team members for feedback, and maybe there's an awkwardness or you feel uncomfortable in doing so. There are tons of things that you can do, like just running surveys, the way that you have developed your review system for your customers. All those communications provide such valuable insights that you can study, and you will find the answers there. And that's how you can determine, okay, this is the customer journey map. What is the most critical touch points that I need to look out for 24/7? That's where you're going to find it.
Yeah, and this topic is huge, so we can go on for forever, and we
Yes.
want to keep it short. So what we're going to do is divide customer mapping into several episodes. So for some of you that want to keep on listening to this interesting topic and hopefully implement it in your own company, is watch these videos that are gonna be customer mapping. Watch these episodes. We're going to put part 1, part 2, part 3, or however long we go about this, because it's very interesting. One of the things that I also see is that a lot of people confuse user experience or UX with customer experience. And they're two different
Exactly.
things.
Yes.
They're two different things, but nonetheless, they go together. So customer experience is the overall experience that you have as a customer. It doesn't matter if it's offline or online. User experience, it's something that you do online with everything that is part of your realm that you control digitally and how that user behaves.
Yeah,
So
and the functionality.
correct. So it's the people landing on your website, the people on your app. They might be the same customers, but user experience is part of customer experience, but customer experience is not part of UX. So the parent here is customer experience, and UX, user experience, is just part of this of customer experience. So customer experience is the parent of user experience. That's what I'm trying to say. The idea here is you have to create an awesome user experience, because now we're more digital than ever, and that those touch points are a lot vital. And after COVID, they became really vital, crucial points for every organization to have. So revamp your website if you haven't done so. Create journey maps on how and user maps on how they're behaving within your website if you already have one, and really update it. There's a lot of companies that we speak about and they haven't updated their website in five
They
years or
rely,
something like that.
yes, they rely on what they have accomplished so far. That it's nice, of course, but we're living in, and especially after COVID, we're living in a brand new different world.
Yeah. So I guess we talked today about defining, well, one of the things I forgot to say is we have to define your target customer. So that's the first step.
Huge.
How do they go around all these touch points that you're documenting? You gather all the data, all the experiences, the interactions with your brand, either through feedback, through surveys, analytics, you asking every person internally how this goes, and you start mapping out and gathering all this data completely. So you map out all these touch points, you make it visual so it's easier for you to not get lost within this map, because
Mhm.
trust me, you're gonna have a lot of touch points. So more than you realize. Another thing that you want to have in mind around these touch points, it's emotions. What type of emotions does your customer have? And so if your customer has a particular emotion on like on the different touch points, make sure you're aware of this. Why? Because this gives you a lot of valuable information on how to approach this customer at every particular touch point. So, for example, when you're delivering a product, they might be happy and excited, whereas you have another touch point when you're gonna tell them that, I don't know, let's say your vendor didn't give you the raw material on time and they're gonna be delayed. They're not gonna be
There's frustrations, yeah.
enthusiastic. So you have to keep in the emotion, so your tone in that communication, it's different, so that when you create that touch point, that tone is taking into account all the information that this people, the customer is going to be sad, and this person is going to have a a reaction to this where it, as if you're joyful about it, obviously it's gonna pretty much
Yeah.
not going to create the impact that you want, and it's gonna hit them with the wrong type of tone, which is gonna create a bad experience.
And
So
all the emotions, yeah. um just to include a little bit, the emotions part is so complex that even a stage that could be defined as happy and exciting as the announcement of a new version of your product and service could also spark angst,
controversy.
or yes, or worry, because people might wonder, okay, but what I currently have is going to be compatible with this new equipment. Like, I'm excited to see what this new version is capable of doing, but will it be compatible? Do I have to buy like the whole thing again? So that type of insight is so valuable that cutting edge companies are taking advantage of it, and it's something that you definitely need to take it into account, because those are moments of transition and easing and making that experience natural and nice for your customers. It's going to be crucial.
Yes, you are 100% correct. Again, I think we're gonna cut this one here because we can go a lot more, but
Yes.
just to summarize, this is map out your all your customer journey. Like, start mapping it out.
Yeah,
You're
start
gonna
listing
find
touch points.
exactly. You're gonna find unbelievable data that can be useful. Get rid of processes that are not useful or efficient, or improve them. So start mapping them out. Gather all the data from every single source that you can, so you have a complete map of of everything that you're doing. Use tools. And when I mean use tools, use whiteboarding tools such as Miro or whatever other software out there that you might want. Use photos, use videos, use graphics, so it makes it a lot richer to have. And don't forget about the emotions that your customer might have. Make sure that you're using a marketing persona or an ICP, however you want to call it, in mind as you go through these, because that's your ideal customer. What are the emotions that they get triggered by these different touch points, so you can address it and meet their expectations, so that you can really give that human connection that they're looking for and enhance their experience. So I think for today that's my summary.
Yes.
And next time we'll talk about a little bit more about this, because again, we have a lot more to cover on this, and it's about what are the best practices, what are common pitfalls and challenges that you're going to be facing, how to use customer journey maps to drive business outcomes, and we'll cover that on a different segment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Juan, and to all of our audience. Thank you, but also stay tuned for the next part, because this is really something that is a total game changer. And the fact that it's episodic, it's very exciting. Remember, Terminator 2 is the best from the bunch. So yeah, I'm pretty excited myself to see where this is going. And remember to also follow us on all the hottest podcast platforms. You can click the link in the video description and you'll find it. And stay tuned for the next episode of the Customer XP Crew. Bye bye.
Bye bye.